right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Morning Mayhem. It's your boy Chris coming at you with another episode. Finally, after 2 weeks now, I took off. I took the 2 weeks off, but I didn't completely take the 2 weeks off, to be fair. I did have some reaction videos roll out. We did some trailer reactions, music video and songs, reactions there, and I had a great time. I just couldn't stay away. But I did take the time off to kind of recalibrate and kind of recenter and recoup and, whatever, just to kind of get ready for this last push of the year, I wouldn't say, and to really kind of balance life a little bit better. As you guys know, I do filmmaking, and I haven't really dedicated as much time to it as I should have or have been wanting to, I'll say. So kind of plan that out a little bit better so I can balance the show here, the different live streams that I tend to show up on, which I'll talk a little bit about that in just a few moments. And then of course the filmmaking, family time, stuff like that. So really enjoy these 2 weeks off to kind of do that. But I did miss you guys. I miss you guys. I love seeing you guys in the comments. I love when we do the streams and see you guys in the live chats. And it just means a lot to me, the interactions that we have. And I appreciate each and every one of you. If it's your first time here, this is the Morning Mayhem. This is my weekly show that I do here on, well, whatever platform you're watching it on, obviously, but I'm on all these guys down here. But we talk about politics, pop culture news, and my camera I have not yet replaced. I think I just saw it glitch, or maybe I'm just in a weird headspace right now. I don't know. Camera I may be replacing. I know I said that before, and I actually did replace it before, but I didn't like the new camera, and then this one started working again, but there's the ADD kicking in that I don't actually have. But I've been hanging around Sean of Third Railify too long. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, for those of you that are new here, I want to welcome you to the Morning Mayhem. We talk about politics, pop culture news, entertainment news. I'm a filmmaker, like I said, so I dig the entertainment news stuff. Some of it's very interesting to me, some of it's not so much. Just depends on the kind of topic that pops up from, which we do have one today that just kind of makes you want to roll your eyes to the back of your head and just like look at your brain to see why anyone would care about this or even still be talking about this, because in your own brain you try to make sense of things and you're like, I can't make sense of this. Anyways, kind of go over some of that stuff, break some news down for today. We'll break up the individual segments into individual shows that'll go out throughout the week. If you're not used to seeing those, there's little bite-sized pieces. I call those the morning nuggets. But you can check those out if maybe you have a shorter attention span, don't have as much time, would rather kind of get those little bite-sized pieces instead of the full show. Perfectly fine. I'm that way depending on what the topic of conversation is, or depending on what I'm doing. So, I totally get it. That's why it's there. I'm not trying to like double dip folks, but meet you where you are. Okay. And if you're a returning sub, if you're a returning viewer, if you're one of the 80% that haven't subbed, you know what? I still love you. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you're getting something out of it. My whole point here is to kind of interact with you guys, but also to educate, entertain to a degree maybe, but to educate, be a net positive voice out there, spreading the news and facts that you're not getting in a lot of mainstream media, to be honest. I'm going to have my personal bias, as those of you have watched already know that. I try not to let them get in my way too much of the facts, though. Like if I share facts, I'm going to share facts even if they contradict my own personal bias. But when I do approach a story, I can't help but have my bias involved. The thing is, I'm very transparent about that, but the mainstream media is not. They're going to act like they're unbiased, and they're not. Nobody is unbiased. But when it comes to the facts, I'm going to try to give them to you as best I can. And as always, the links to any of the articles I read, data I use, or anything like that, any receipts, they're going to be down in the show notes below. Go behind me and check it out and make sure I'm actually like talking about what I'm talking about. I'm not like, cherry picking things and bypassing other parts of the story or leaving things out or whatever, because I want to be transparent to you guys. And I think that's where, again, we as these independent individual content creators out there separate ourselves from the mainstream media that condemn you for trying to do your own research, which just boggles my mind that they said that on air. Yes. Brian Stelter, I think, was the one. Oh, do your own research. How dangerous can that actually be? Let's not do that. Listen to us. I hate that they did that. I hate that they lied to us, and they have lied to us for so long now. So a couple of FYIs about what we've got going on. Now that I am back, this past Tuesday, I kind of cheated. I was supposed to be back today, but I did come back this past Tuesday for the VP debate. Did a live stream with my boy Robert over at the Washcast, and of course Sean from Third Railify was on there. We had revival at church this week. Never been to a revival, certainly never hosted it, never been part of hosting it. But I was late to the pre-show, got there right at the end of it, right before the debate started. But I will leave a link in the show notes below to go watch it. Not to toot our own horns here, but just like we did with the presidential debate, I think we did an excellent job in fact checking in real time and our commentary on what we were noticing from both the candidates as well as the moderators. And just our general conversation that we had was, I think, fantastic. So we rolled for about 4 hours. I say we, the show was about 4 hours. I think I was there for 3 of those 4 hours, if I'm not mistaken. So go check it out if you're interested. Just kind of get our take on it or whatever. So again, I did kind of cheat and come back early, but I didn't want to miss that. And I'm glad I didn't. Speaking of the debate, check this guy out, huh? He showed up and showed out, didn't he? If you saw the debate, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not a Trump supporter or a Vance supporter, look, I get it. You may be in denial. I'll acknowledge when somebody does great, somebody doesn't do great. I don't think Trump did fantastic against Harris. Again, I don't think Harris did that great either. So it wasn't that fantastic of a presidential debate. The VP debate, though, the other night, this dude right here, woo, masterclass. He did a fantastic job. You know what? I'm excited because this will be the first time we've had a decent beard in the White House if we get him in there, right? Since who was it? Teddy Roosevelt's VP, which was Charles Fairbanks. That was 1909 when they got out of there. Think about that. We need a good solid beard in there. It's time for manly men of masculinity and beardness to be back in the White House, in my humble yet accurate opinion. But yeah, go check out that show. We had a great time doing that. Tonight, if you are watching this on Friday when the show comes out, tonight, I will actually be on Jacob Berry. You guys remember him. He's been on our show, twice now, I think. He's been on my show twice. I've been on his once. I'll be on there again, this time on a panel. We're going to have a good time tonight, kind of kick off October, kick off the Halloween spooky season and everything. And we're going to talk about our favorite Halloween horror flicks, and probably other spooky fun stuff and whatnot. But I will be on there with Warrior Woman and Jester Bell, two guests that he's had on there before, and he has good relationships with. So it'll be the 4 of us on there. I don't know if there'll be more or not at some point, but from the details that I have, it's going to be the 4 of us talking about this. And I do have the link already, so I will leave it in the show notes below, so you can go check that out. Again, that is tonight. I forget the time, but I'm sure it has it on the thumbnail, or I'll put the time on there or whatever. Sorry, Jake. Sorry, Jacob. But we're going to have a good time. I love talking about movies. And horror movies are my thing, baby. Of course, Saturday night, tomorrow night, unless something changes, I will be on Off the Rails with Third Railify as usual. I know he's working on getting pretty significant guest. I won't pop that bubble yet. I'll let him do that. Don't know when that'll be, and if that is Saturday night, I may get bumped for the guest, and I'm 100% okay with that. But I know he's working on big things. But as it stands right now, I am planning on being on Saturday night Off the Rails. That is our live stream on Rumble on Third Railify's channel. That'll be linked, of course, down in the show notes. And many of you already watch us over there, but we are completely off the rails, uncensored, just stupid. We have a great time, and we have a great time interacting with the chat. So, check us out live, interact with the chat, and we'll do big things. And lastly, before we get into the show, I know I got a lot of announcements, but it's been a while. Playing catch up, baby. Lastly, if you haven't noticed, it is the first of the month, which means this coming Monday will be the first Monday of the month, which means this is going to be our second Monday Night Mayhem. I am super, super thrilled to be back with our second live stream from our channel Monday Night Mayhem live. Last time I had Sean from Third Railify, Robert from the Wash Cast, and Bluey and Biggie from the Talking Nerds, and we had an excellent time. Fantastic time. Love all those guys. Think the world of them. So far right now, we've got Robert confirmed to be back with us, and I've also got comedian Chris Clark confirmed as well. And now he is he produces the Hodge Twins show. He works with them on that, and he's also their featuring is it the feature comedian? Feature always means, to me, it's filmmaking. Feature is the big main event kind of thing, but he's the featured comedian. He's the opening act. I don't want to denigrate him. I want to show nothing but love. I love me some comedian Chris Clark, aka C Snacks. If you know, you know. But he tours with the Hodge Twins. He works with them, and he does his own tour and stuff. He's been in the Jimmy Kimmel, The Cellar, all these different comedy clubs out in Vegas, doing huge things. He's going to be on the show with us for a while. I am super, super excited about that. Plus, I got a couple more guys that haven't quite yet confirmed, and maybe by the time that I post this video, they will, and I'll update the thumbnail if they do. But super, super excited about our lineup that's confirmed and our potential lineup that's going to finish us off for this coming Monday. So you're going to want to check that out. That's going to be here on this channel. Follow me on specifically X. X is where I've been really doing a whole lot. I'm on these other guys too. X I've been a lot more active on, so that'll be the first place I update anything at all to do with the show. So as more guests confirm, and as the time goes out and everything, which is usually always the same time, and I think that was 10 p.m. Eastern time. I should be able to remember when my own show starts, but I think it's 10 p.m. Eastern time next Monday night. So join us on that. Live stream will be on all the different platforms that I can get it on. I think I had a hard time with Odyssey last time. I had to figure that one out, but we're going to shoot for that again. And at some point during the show, it is very possible we will shoot over exclusively to Rumble. So if you're not following there, Rumble's a great one to watch us on. Free speech platform. Really love those guys. Odyssey's a free speech platform for the most part. Really like those guys as well. But we're going to be everywhere to start the show. But at some point we may, depending on how it goes, we may exclusively shoot over to Rumble. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to start there for Monday night. But with all that said, let's start the show. All right. So going to run through some of these. Not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. The first story we're going to talk about, and I can't believe we're actually talking about it. It's 2024. Why are we still talking about that? What are we talking about, Chris? We're talking about Ghostbusters 2016, or as they call it, Ghostbusters Answer the Call. So director Paul Feig blames backlash on the political climate of the time. Claims critics were Trump supporters. A lot of people didn't like this film. You know what? Let me go down to it because I got a picture here. You know what? What's her name? Kate McKinnon. She's a lesbian. But I dig her. I think she's great. And, I wouldn't kick her out of the sack. Kristen Wiig. Yeah, I'd holler. Melissa McCarthy. I ain't gonna lie. There's times where I go like, I could see that. Okay. But yeah, Leslie Jones, I've never seen or heard Leslie Jones be funny ever. Or a good actress in anything, from Coming to America 2 to this. And I have seen both of them, so I can actually have a say in the conversation. I'm not just, hearing somebody else criticize the films or whatnot, but I've actually watched it. I'm like, I don't see the appeal. And it's not even just like an appearance appeal, kind of like, ooh, she's good looking. No, just, I don't think she's a good actress, and I don't think she's funny. That's neither here nor there. If you have a good movie with a good script and good stories and good characters that you develop and everything, you could do anything with it. It could be fantastic, even with, piss poor actors or whatnot. We've seen it in movies back in the 80s that, cheesy cult classic movies that we just love. They were well done for the most part. Maybe the acting wasn't great, but you know what? We look past that sometimes. It's that suspension of disbelief, right? So anyways, let's scroll back up here. So Paul Feig, this dude, I've only seen him in a couple things where he played like a super nerdy nerd dude, and it's very suiting of him. But this dude, he is the whiniest man. We're going to talk about masculinity in just a minute. It's just, I don't know, but I can't remember if there's a picture of him in here or not. If not, I will throw one up on the screen just so you guys can see who we're talking about here. But just kind of scooting through it. This is from Bounding into Comics. It says and yet again, and again, this is not an old article. This is not an old article. This came out September 27th. September 27th of a movie from 2016. If my math serves me correctly, that's 8 years ago. Okay. Anyways, and yet again attempting to blame. I feel like there's a typo there, or bad grammar, or I'm just an idiot. It can be all those, just to be fair. And yet again, attempting to blame the film's failure on the undefined specter of bigotry. Ghostbusters Answer the Call director, Paul Feig, I can't remember if it's Feig or Feig, sorry, I think it's Feig, has claimed that not only was the backlash to his all-female franchise reboot a result of the political climate of the time, but many of those were unhappy with the film were unabashed Trump supporters. The reboot director offered his latest reflection on this discourse surrounding his 2016 box office bomb, and it was, while answering a handful of fan questions as submitted to him by the readership of UK news outlet The Guardian. In conclusion to his Q&A, Feig was met with the inquiry, why did you make 2016's Ghostbuster a full-blown reboot that ignored the original films? To which he explained Bill Murray had publicly said he didn't want to do another Ghostbusters at that point. Harold Ramis had died. That's a fact. Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson were there, but half the team felt weird. It had been 30 years, and Bill and the gang were so iconic, they didn't want to do anything to hurt the original movies. So instead, you rebooted it, completely ignoring it. And rebooting it, I mean, they didn't even try. I'm sorry. And I've got my own take on today's comedy. And in fact, that's going to be part of Monday's show. We got comedian Chris Clark on there, like I was mentioning earlier. And we may have another comedian on there. Fingers crossed. Would really like to have him on there. But comedy has changed from what it was to what it is now. And it hasn't changed in a great way, in my opinion. And I think that's a large part of this. We'll get into that later. All right, so the question itself now answered, Feig completely of his own volition, then turned his attention to discussing the film's poor reception. The political climate of the time was really weird. With Hillary Clinton running for office 2016, said the Bridesmaid director, there were a lot of dudes. Bridesmaids? My wife likes that movie, I want to say, and I think I watched it with her or part of it with her. It was actually kind of funny. Some of those actresses I don't particularly think are funny, but again, that's one of those situations they were put in a pretty decent film so I could overlook it. You feel me? I feel like we use the same actors and actresses all the time and like, be funny, be jokey, and they just can't. They just can't in every film. They got to have a script. But I thought this was pretty funny. I remember some specific scenes that had me laughing. But there were a lot of dudes looking for a fight. When I was getting piled on Twitter, bet he liked that, I'd go back and see who they were. So many were Trump supporters. Then Trump came out against us. He was like, they're remaking Indiana Jones without Harrison Ford. You can't do that. And now this is a terrible Trump impression, by the way. I'm not trying to do that. And now they're making Ghostbusters with only women. What's going on? And got all upset. Everybody went effing cannibal. Here's the thing about this, man. I'm gonna go ahead and just stop right there because I get so irritated with all this. But yeah, I mean, we went through a period where, and still going through it, to be fair, we're race swapping, gender swapping, basically doing everything to pull white people out, especially white men of films. And I say that again, as a filmmaker, as a film connoisseur, as an artist, it doesn't make sense. Okay. I get that maybe the studios and maybe these people that are all tied into the elites and everything are trying to make a political statement here and trying to show more equity or whatever. But you lose so much in translation. And I'm just saying that again as kind of a storyteller here. Like, why are you doing? Are you doing it just to do it, or does it make sense? You know, like in horror films, one of the creepiest things that you can do is put a kid in a horror movie and something happened to that kid. They get possessed or they get stalked or something. That makes sense because it affects us differently than if it's an adult. Look at The Exorcist. It was a kid and it was a girl. It hits differently. If you just gender swap something that's already established for no reason, it's clear what you're doing and you've already going to have some haters on your hands. Even if it's great, because we're tired of it. We're tired of it. Nobody cares if you have a strong female-led film. We enjoy strong female-led films. I can't count how many times. Again, I mentioned them on the Morning Mayhem. Well, not the Morning Mayhem, Monday Night Mayhem. Last time, the Talking Nerds. And we all watch the same folks. Talking Nerds, Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, Ryan Kennel, Young Ripa, Silverback, can't think of his name right now. Az from Hill versus Bayface. I mean, everybody has been very clear about this. We don't care if there are strong female leads in the movie. We don't care if it's an all-female film. Just make it good. Just make it good. We don't want bad films that are all male films, all white male films. We want good movies. As an independent filmmaker that has zero money, zero budget, me and my friends, we get together and we do the best we can. You guys have billions of dollars and are just pissing it down the drain, trying to make some kind of political statement. These studios are losing so much money. In fact, I think it was, what was Ghostbusters? I think that was Sony. I won't be able to find it right now, but I think it was Sony. And they said that Paul Feig would never work for them again. Something along those lines. I could be misquoting it, to be fair, but I want to say it was something along those lines because he lost them so much money. And he did. The only guy that was relevant in the movie was Chris Hemsworth, and they turned him into a bitch. And that's what they do in these films. And for those of us that see it, we are seeing it far too often. Far too often. You are ruining cinema by trying to do this crap right here. There's a right way and a wrong way to do it, and you're doing it the wrong way. And Paul Feig, just go on, dude. Make something else. You've clearly got talent and skills, and you can make something that's funny and enjoyable and can find its audience. I'm happy for you. Go do it. Quit rebooting and ruining franchises that are established and loved. You guys are idiots. All right, I'm going to move on to this next story, which kind of carries over a little bit from the whole Paul Feig thing. You know, Paul Feig.
Jesus Christ.
The icon of masculinity. So this makes me chuckle because I'll read the headline and we'll go back to it because the New York Post put a fantastic spin on it to begin with. But MSNBC's Jen Psaki tells Doug Emhoff he reshaped the perception of masculinity after it was revealed he cheated on his first wife with the nanny. So fun little spin there. We're going to take a look at this, but this is one of those stories that I don't want you to get hung up in the subject matter. Okay, which we are going to cover. But be a Harris supporter or not, this is what I want you to see. MSNBC is mainstream media. See how they play into one side of the political spectrum and demonize the other. That's what I really want you to take away. And if you go back and look at my past shows, anytime I talk about the media like this, that's the biggest thing I talk about. Not that, oh, they don't like Trump, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. I don't care if they like Trump or not. It's their job as mainstream media to be more fair and less biased than say I am. But when I come to you with facts, I do my best to be unbiased and I present everything as factual and right down the middle as I can. Now, when I give my opinion or I read something or I kind of see it through the perspective from my own personal bias, it may pick up a little bit of that in there. But you know what my bias is. I'm a fairly conservative dude, mostly conservative dude. I do share some, ideology with the left a little bit, some visions, some hopes, some dreams of things that we can do, but we can't get there tomorrow if we don't take care of today. And that's where I align a lot with conservatives. They want to get us there, but we got to get through today. We got to survive, and we're not surviving right now, in my humble yet accurate opinion. This is the media doing what they do best: programming, controlling, manipulating, disinformation, misinformation. You throw any label on it you want to, but this is them trying to force you to believe a narrative because all of them are on board, even ones that you may not think are. So we'll read through this real quick. We're not going to read the whole thing. We're going to just kind of skim over it. But again, something else I've said before that ties into this is that masculinity. I've always said that families are under attack. Masculinity is significantly under attack in this country, nay, the world. And we're going to talk about that a little bit in this article. And like I said, we're not going to hang out here too long. But of course, y'all remember MSNBC's Jen Psaki? She used to be the White House press secretary. And then she got a job with them, but she was still working as the press. It's almost like there was a conflict of interest and nobody held her accountable for it, even though they asked about it. Oh, well, moving on. Nothing to see here. How long is this? 30 seconds. Why not? Let's play it. Make sure you guys can hear it. Here we go.
Been an important part.
Maybe Jim Psaki. Are you gonna play it for me, Jim Psaki? How embarrassing! Even on the internet, she can't get her words together. Hardy har har. Let's refresh it. Let's see if we can get her to do what she does best. There she goes. Talk to me, girl.
Something that has also been an important part and interesting.
Retard alert! Retard alert, class!
I didn't know she was going to do that. That whole not getting the words together and stuff. I was joking because the video was buffering. Talk about foreshadowing.
Something that has also been an important part and interesting part of how people have talked about your role here is how your role has reshaped the perception of masculinity. And I'm not sure you planned on that, but you are an incredibly supportive spouse. Has that been an evolution for you? And do you think that's part of the role you might play as first gentleman?
It's funny. I've started to think a lot about this. I've always been like this. My dad was like this. And to me, it's the right thing to do.
There's nothing about what that man just said. The way he said it with such gravitas and basically limp-wristedness. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. I've seen him walk. I've seen him talk. I've seen the way he carries himself. I've seen the way he talked at the DNC about his wife and about his family and everything. God bless a man who loves his family. But I don't think they understand what the word masculinity means. And I'm starting to think that a lot of Democrat liberal women didn't grow up in a house with a masculine father or with a father at all, possibly. Because they probably wouldn't be liberal. They'd see through it. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's read a little bit about how freaking masculine this dude is. It just talks like this. He's like, I'm just going to support my wife and take a back seat and just let her do her thing and be some. I support my wife. I do most of the cooking in this house. One, because I'm fantastic at it. Okay. Two, I enjoyed it. It's very therapeutic for me. You know. Three, I know I'm not going to be poisoned. But I enjoy doing the cooking. So I do most of the cooking in the house. I take care of, a lot of the stuff around here that directly impacts me, and she takes care of some other stuff. As far as like I do my own laundry, she does her laundry and our little girl's laundry. I'll do the linens and stuff. Like we try to work together on so much around the house. I don't think that's necessarily masculine or feminine. I think that's just part of being a supportive spouse. But they're going to do everything they can to tie into masculinity to try to redefine it, just like they've redefined, just normal straight dudes. We're cisgendered, I guess. I'm still confused about what all this crap means. There's too much of the stupidity out there. Anyways, MSNBC host Jen Psaki is being mocked on social media for praising second gentleman Doug Emhoff as someone who reshaped the perception of masculinity, despite the recent revelation that he impregnated his child's nanny during his first marriage. Whoa. I don't know about masculinity, but it's kind of a bitch move, dude. Kind of a bitch move. I mean, I wouldn't have done that. Psaki, the former White House press secretary under the current Biden administration, again, no conflict of interest there when she was hired, interviewed Emhoff, the husband of Vice President Kamala Harris, during the most recent installment of Inside with Jen Psaki. I wanted to say Inside Jen Psaki so bad. Oh, I think Sean will get a good chuckle out of that, won't you, buddy? Which aired Sunday afternoon on the Comcast-owned left-leaning cable network. Go get them, New York Post. About halfway through the 15-minute sit-down with the potential first gentleman, Psaki brought up how your role has reshaped the perception of masculinity. Look, and again, there's so many things I want to take away from the story. One, there's nothing masculine about this dude. There's none of, they're trying to pull the wool over your eyes and manipulate you into thinking masculinity means something it doesn't. That pisses me off. The other thing is mainstream media sucking it up with Doug Emhoff over here. Have you seen him with Melania Trump? Have you seen him with J.D. Vance's wife? Have you seen him getting friendly and cozy with Trump or Vance? No. They hate them. So they're not going to do anything that could possibly shed a good light on them while they're going to basically blow these guys on camera. I'm sorry, that was graphic. That's how much they love them, though. They're going to do everything they can to build them up. These guys make me sick, mainstream media. Psaki praised Emhoff as someone whose role has reshaped. Praised. I mean, the verbiage the New York Post is doing is fantastic here. I mean, that's exactly what it is. Look at her. She's like, can I be your next babysitter? Give it to me, hot stuff. I mean, aside from her being a redhead, I mean, that maybe, I don't know. That maybe she got them crazy eyes is all I'm saying. Let's see. And I'm not sure you plan on that, but you are an incredibly supportive spouse. Again, doesn't necessarily mean masculine. I've seen very effeminate men be very supportive spouses. You guys don't understand what masculinity means. You can't even begin to try to apply that to somebody else. When you're talking about, let's see, with Kamala and I, it's mutual. We support each other. We have each other's back. Hold on. With Kamala and I, it's mutual. We support each other. We have each other's back, he said. And when we lift up women and support women with pay equity, child care, family leave, women should not be less than. Shut up. I can agree with a lot of this if it were, based in reality and not manufactured, as a lot of these are manufactured talking points. And that doesn't make me masculine or effeminate to believe this. None of this applies to the masculinity argument. It's just, let me make more talking points to see how much I love women. Yeah, he loves women so much, he knocked up his babysitter. Like, what are we doing here, guys? What are we doing here? You don't hate the mainstream media enough. Go back and watch the VP debate. CBS, who hosted it, came out looking significantly better than ABC right from the jump. We're like, okay, this is going to be good. So far, so good. Not as bad as ABC. But when you actually go back and listen to the questions they ask, how they were pointed questions, how they were specifically worded questions, how they fact checked incorrectly, by the way, but fact checked when they said they wouldn't because that was the rules that were agreed upon, mostly probably to protect Waltz, but I digress. They broke the rules, they did their thing, and you hear the media right there trying to run cover for Waltz, giving Vance a disadvantage. Go back to the ABC one with Trump and Harris. Same thing. It was 3-on-1. We did the live stream for that one, and the whole night we were mad, pointing it out how all-sided it was. It was 3-against-1 on that one. Again, Trump didn't do his best that night, and I have no problem with criticizing anyone and everyone at any point in time, because that's what I do. But it's kind of difficult when it's 3-against-1. So go back and watch that one too. It's just, the mainstream media is consistently lying to you, and their fact checks are BS. And when CNN came out saying, I think it was, he lied like 30 something times and she only lied like one time or whatever it was something stupid and ridiculous. During the live stream, me, Robert, Sean, and I want to say maybe even still while Chris from Chris's World was on there, we were fact checking her on multiple things. For CNN to say 1 plus, maybe 1.5, they're being selectively manipulative on how they do this. They manipulate you. Over here, we're going to show the positive. Over here, for this person, we're only going to show the negative. Go look at how they're covering the candidates. What was it? Don't remember the numbers right off, so forgive me. I didn't know I was going to mention this. But it was like 80-something% of coverage has been positive for Harris versus 80-something% of coverage has been negative for Trump across the line with almost all mainstream media. Okay? That's not fair and balanced. That's not the way it's supposed to be. How can you be the most trusted name in news when you're pulling crap like that? So they're not going to hear me. They're never going to see this, but you are. And you have friends that look to them as a trusted network. Now, I may not be the bee's knees when it comes to all of this, but I'm significantly more honest and transparent. I have my links down in the show notes below to everything that I'm referencing here. Okay, you got plenty of other people you can go look to. Dan Bongino, Steven Crowder, The Quartering, God, so many people. Of course, the Washcast, Spin Cycle, all with Robert Herr. You got Studio Jake. He covers some of this stuff outside of the entertainment stuff that he does. I mean, there are so many different sources. Liberal Hive Mind, Don't Walk Run Productions, Mark freaking Dice, dude. Mark Dice is awesome. There are just so many that you can go watch that do a better and more honest job than mainstream media. Just saying. Just saying. And you are seeing this, so you share it with your friends. Share it with those people that are watching this garbage and just taking it in as fact and not questioning anything. Boy, I tell you what, if you don't question things in life, they get mad about Trump questioning the 2020 election. But you know, it's our God-given right, and it's built into us to question things. We should be questioning our elected officials. We should be questioning our election security. We should be questioning, hey, I'm a Christian. Guess what I do? I question my faith. Guess what people that aren't Christian do? They question my faith. They question other faiths. They question science. That's how we discover things. That's how we find out things. To debunk it, to dispute it, to recognize that it's correct, whatever. It doesn't hurt to question things, but mainstream media doesn't want you to do that. I want you to do that because I want what's best for you. And if I only cover half a story and I do it poorly, I'm hoping of the people that I've just mentioned and people that you already know that I mentioned then in my network, outside of my network, but I still watch whatever. You can find the full story between the 3 or 4 of us or whatever. You can put the pieces together and say, so that's what's really going on. You're not going to get it on CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, MSNBC, maybe in Fox News, whatever. Just saying. You don't hate the mainstream media enough. All right. We're going to go ahead and move on to this next story. And this is going to be kind of the big story. I wasn't personally affected by the hurricane that came through. It did come right past us, but it shifted. So the storm, as it passed through Georgia, and it may have started shifting in Florida. I don't know where it started shifting based off of what was originally drawn. But the heaviest winds are on the right side or the east side of the storm, and the west side or the left side of it, significantly less winds. So when the map was drawn, we were seeing the track and everything, we were going to be on the right side, the east side of it. We're going to get terrible winds, huge winds. When it came through, it didn't. It went over to the right. It was further off to our east. And so we were on the west. And I mean, my backyard gate kind of blew open a little bit. My dogs got out that morning. I don't leave my dogs outside, and I didn't leave them outside during a hurricane. I let them outside, and I was like, they've been out there a while without scratching at the door to come back in. Let me go check on them. Up there around the corner, down the street. Little wiener dog, half deaf, half blind, and a big old scary looking pit bull. Glad I found them. But that was the worst thing that I had. And I chuckled a little bit because it was supposed to be significantly worse. And I'm like, oh man, if that's the worst I have, I am so blessed and so grateful for that. Because let me tell you something. I'll come back here. So I work full time, and I'm not going to try to dox myself any more than I already do, but I do work full time in IT, but I work IT for an insurance company for the state of Georgia. Okay. I talk to people in every single county in the state of Georgia. I talk to field representatives, auditors, whoever out there that's in the field, on the roads, driving around, assessing the damage, all that stuff, right? I talk to people that are in our main home office, and I work with them. And over the course of like talking to all these people on a daily basis, there are people out there that don't think they'll have power for almost a month. There are people going to work, and this is what I love about the people that I associate with. I love whoever said it. I'm sure multiple people said it, but like, surround yourself with 4 millionaires, you're going to be the fifth. Surround yourself with 4 losers, you're going to be the fifth. It's one of those kind of things. You are the company you keep, right? So when I get to hang out with people like Robert Herv, the Washcast and Spin Cycle, Sean from Third Railify, Jacob Berry from Studio Jake, the Talking Nerds, Big and Bluey, when I get to hang out with these people, I'm in good company. I only want to associate people that I'm going to elevate them, and they're going to elevate me, and we're going to help each other out and be supportive of each other. Positive vibes, nothing but positive vibes here, that you guys see. And outside of this, in like the filmmaking world and stuff like that, it's the same thing. The company that I work for is so freaking awesome. And the people that work there are so amazing. We got, insurance agents that don't have power at their house, don't have running water at their house, but they're going into the office, hooking up a generator so you can get their internet up and running if their provider is providing internet. If not, they're getting some kind of hotspot or cell phone hotspot or mobile hot. They're doing whatever they can to get back up and running, not so they can write new business after a hurricane done rip through, but so they can file the claims and get these people taken care of and get checks sent out immediately. The company I work for is one of the best freaking insurance companies there is. They're not one of the biggest names companies, and they're not the cheapest company, but they are almost always the first ones writing checks, out there checking on you, getting you taken care of. I've heard that from many personal friends of mine. They're like, dude, I had a check within 48 hours of a major disaster of my house. I couldn't believe it. I have friends with other insurance companies, and they still haven't seen their provider, or their reps or whatever. So I'm very honored to be affiliated with those people. That being said, I'm hearing stories like that. I'm hearing that they have to drive through other people's parking lots to get to their building because their building is completely blocked off by downed trees. I'm hearing that they haven't been able to take a shower, but they're out there working to help other people in the community. I'm hearing about a tree falling on somebody that was trying to move debris out of the road so emergency services can get through, and then pulling it and doing so, another huge limb went through the tree and killed him. These are real stories, and I'm kind of getting amped up a little bit. And I hope you get a little amped up here a little bit and see why. I've got family in Valdosta, Georgia, and that was hit bad. That was hit bad. You've got Florida hit bad. You've got that path going from kind of the south central, west, I guess, of Georgia, toward the panhandle of Florida there. So you got from there up to the northeast, off into South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, and all that, right? Damage like we've never seen in a path, like just blows your mind. Now, conspiracy theorists aside, all you guys, it's a storm of mass destruction, and that's what I'm going to focus on, that and the responses to it. And that's where I'm really getting amped up about some stuff. Okay. So just a couple of articles, again, not going to read through these whole things, but just kind of to paint a picture, especially for those of you that are unaffected. You don't know what's going on. You're in other parts of the country or other parts of the world. I know I got people that are outside the United States that watch. Love you. God bless you. So just to kind of give you a little bit more insight, I mean, internet and phone outages cut some Hurricane Helene. I keep hearing Helen, but to me, I want to say Helene. Victims off from the world. That is correct. There are some towns that no longer exist. The entire town is gone. There are some towns, was it Asheville, that's like completely shut off from the outside world. The bridges going into it are down. The roads are busted up. No internet, no power, no cell service, no nothing. In fact, again, one of the county guys that I was talking to, he said they didn't even have 911 working. So if there was an emergency, they're screwed. They better figure out how to call somebody else. And that breaks my heart. We got to get this country back up and running. This is part of it, right? We got to be there for each other. We're the United States of America. This is like a Katrina kind of thing, a 9/11 kind of thing. Let's come together. Let's put our differences aside and help these people out. And again, I'm not just saying that because it came through my state and it affected people that I know. I don't care about that. We're supposed to look out for one another. Now, you can argue the immigrants, illegal immigrants, and controversies around. I'm talking about man looking out for man, number one. Two, American citizen looking out for American citizen. I'm talking about us. In a time where we're most divided with this election coming up, we should be out here in these streets helping each other out in one way or another, to whatever degree that we can. I don't expect you to run out there with a chainsaw and do it. If you don't have a chainsaw, you don't know how to use a chainsaw, that's not your thing. Maybe your thing is you've got a little extra cash. I'm going to tell you about an organization that's out there with boots on the ground doing stuff right now, even more, I would say, than our federal government. And you can donate to them and they'll go out there with the chainsaws and the trucks and do the work. House people, clothe people, feed people, clear the roadways, try to rebuild houses as best they can, help them go through. I mean, the work that's being done by some people is just mind blowing, especially with it being so close to it just passing through. And it's probably not even dried up in a lot of areas. There's still damaged wet goods everywhere. Flooding still going on. And they're out there working their asses off to help these people out. But is the government? Sorry, jumping ahead. But these guys are hit hard, right? Here's another one from Reuters, or I used Yahoo because Reuters wanted to charge me. Screw those guys. U.S. Southeast faces costly cleanup as death tolls rise. I mean, I won't play the audio here. I don't think it's going to play. But just look. Look, there's the foundation. There's. I mean, yeah, these are near the ocean or whatever, but look at that. I mean, so much destruction here. Of course, it's going to freeze up on me, but you guys get the point. It's just the headline speaks about the costly cleanup, and it is a costly cleanup. And for some people, it cost them their lives. The storm did. What's interesting to me, and I'm not the only one to say this, and it's not just Trump supporters or right-wing extremists or MAGAs. We say this for everything. We say this for so much. There's a lot of people that believe that before we go off giving billions and billions of dollars that we don't even have to other countries that result in a zero return on investment. There's nothing we get out of it. Instead of giving them billions of dollars, we should be making sure there's no child in this country that's homeless. No veteran that has served this country that's homeless. People out there that are addicted to drugs and trying to get off of them, we should have all kinds of opportunities for them to get off of. There's too many clinics that have full beds and they can't get into it, and we got them out on the streets like garbage. Like the leper. Stay away from me. Look, again, this is where I kind of cross that line to liberalism, I think, a little bit there. I want to do more. But the thing is that the conservative part kicks in. It's like, but we don't have the means to do it. Or it's always funny to me that we don't have the means to do certain things, but we do have plenty to do other things. And right now what we're seeing is those other things don't do anything for us. We always got money for war, and part of me is okay with that, because if there ever is a war, dear God, let us make sure we are financing the heck out of it so we win. I mean, whatever we got to do. As far as funding other countries to go to war, as far as, and this is true, the study of fish overseas in the desert or something crap like that, or making sure some other countries' borders are secure, or transgender studies and whatnot in Afghanistan. I don't know. We're funding Afghani trannies. That's what I know. YouTube's going to love that, by the way. Our money's going to all this stupid crap. Billions upon billions of dollars. We have a deficit year after year after year. Don't get deficit and debt confused. We're always going to be in debt, I'm pretty sure. No one is trying to work on the debt. They're just trying to work on the deficit. The debt is how much we owe. Okay? The deficit is, here's our budget. Here's how much we actually spent. It's that difference right there. It's the deficit between the actual budget, our annual budget, and how much we spent. So when they say, oh, we lowered the deficit, you just spent less over the budget than you did before, but you still spent over the budget. That's why someone who's been successful in the business world recently did a significantly better job than people that have spent half of their life, if not more, as a politician running this country. You can't run a business like that. I love it. It was Rand Paul said, why are we giving money that we don't have to people we don't like, you know, or to other people. I don't remember how he said it. I started putting my own spin on it because I'm irritated. So we got this hurricane rips through, right? Let's go back over here. This hurricane rips through. And I know I'm a little behind on this. And there's some news breaking daily on this. And I try not to cover stuff that's like this, that's having news breaking daily, because when it comes out and you guys see it, you'll be like, Chris, that's old news. But it's still important. And it's not necessarily the incremental facts that I'm getting in a row that are like, oh, this is new, this is the dollar amount. No, it's more big picture. It's broad. That's what I'm trying to present to you. From Gateway Pundit here, Joe Biden tells Americans suffering in flood disaster zones, no, there won't be more resources coming. We've given them all we have. And it's in a video. And this guy right here, he's not running the country. He's never been running the country, unless it was like when he first came in and handed the keys to somebody else for that 27 minutes that it took for him to do all that. Here you go. My butt's been wiped. Do we have the video? Can't remember if it's in here or not. Watch this, man. It's heartbreaking.
Get out of the way. Deep wind. Oh, God. Deep wind. Damn. There went the 107 bridge. 107 highway bridge.
The 107 bridge. I don't know where that is exactly, but you're talking about a bridge that connected this part of a town, or maybe the entire town, to civilization outside of that town, which may have been the only place where they could have gotten gas, gotten food, gotten diapers, baby formula, whatever it may be. I know we tend to go to the baby side a lot more, but that's because they're needy. Think about the elderly. Think about the supplies that are needed from the, for them, like the oxygen tanks and whatnot. My brother has a job where he delivers that, and he, you know, it's such a crucial thing. People don't think about these things. You know, you need power to run so much of this stuff, and then you need the tanks themselves, and you can't get it if your freaking bridge is blown up. That thing just washed away like it was nothing. Mother Nature ain't no joke. I was looking for the, here it is. Here it is.
Yes, it's tragic. As a matter of fact, we're trying to get the exact number. My FEMA advisor is on the ground in Florida right now. There's a distinction between the numbers that FEMA's used and the ones that are used by the locals. So it really is amazing. You saw the photographs. It's stunning.
It's unbelievable.
It really is.
Such a wide area.
And we've given them all everything that we have. We're on the ground ahead of time, so we're working hard.
Are there any more resources the federal government could be giving them?
No, we've given them. We have pre-planned a significant amount of it, even though they didn't ask for it yet. Hadn't asked for it yet.
All right, so we're going to give you guys a certain amount of money for aid down there to recover. But you got to ask for it first, you know. But that's all. You're not getting much. And I think I saw Kamala say the other day, he's like, oh, we're going to give out $750 to you guys, kind of like the Maui folks, $700. Hey, look, I'm sure they appreciate anything to help them out. But they want their house back. They want the power turned on. All that takes time and energy and money. And I'm telling you, when I'm driving up and down the interstate, which I don't do often anymore, but I have this week because we've had revival at church this week, and I don't live in the same town as my church anymore. So I drive 35, 45 minutes to my church down the interstate. And that interstate every single day has been lined up with these trucks, with the lifts and everything, you know, the line worker truck guys, going down to Florida or coming up from Florida or wherever. I mean, every time I'm on the interstate, I can see them going both ways. I mean, they are working tirelessly to do it, but the federal government, I can only imagine how little they could care about this, but they will be in a hurry to go sign a check for billions upon billions for another country. You guys remember when she said this, and she said this a while back, but, and I'm sharing it from InWokeness. I don't know if InWokeness did this, but I've been sharing a lot from InWokeness. They put out great stuff. But she said this, and they overlaid it over the actual footage from this hurricane. And I think that may be Tennessee or North Carolina. Doesn't really matter. I mean, it's all about the same, but listen to what she says about these natural disasters, or what she said. This was prior to the hurricane. This was back when she was running for president, or back when she was vice president, you know, early on. I can't remember exactly when she said it, but listen to what she said.
It is our lowest income communities and our communities of color that are most impacted by these extreme conditions and impacted by issues that are not of their own making. And so women. Absolutely. And so we have to address this in a way that is about giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same place. And if we want people to be in an equal place, sometimes we have to take into account those disparities and do that work. It is our...
Screw you, lady. What she's saying, for those of you that may not be picking up what she's putting down, and that's fine if you don't, it's okay. Politicians are slimy creatures. What she's saying in a nutshell is, if there's a natural disaster that hits an area, and you have a wealthy community right here, which is really funny because there's a road in Macon where I grew up. There's a road that as you drive down it, one side of the road is like cheap house and ghetto looking, you know, broke down cars in the front yard. And then there was like a Kroger. The Kroger's closed now, but it was like all this kind of like, you don't want to be caught there after dark kind of thing. Then there's the Kroger. Then all of a sudden the houses are really, really nice. It's like, what transitioned at the Kroger? You know what I mean? In this scenario, she would go to that road. It's demolished because of the hurricane. She would say, well, we need to start in the poor, more diverse, more, you know, whatever she could find. You know, we don't care about the wealthy people. We care about the poor people. Or if it was a color thing, oh, well, maybe we don't care about white people as much as we care about black people. Or maybe, you know, we don't care about the legal citizens as much as we care about the illegal citizens. We already see that now, don't we? I hate all of that. Look, I as a filmmaker, you know, I poke fun at racism all the time. I do think racism is funny because it's stupid, right? I pick at it all the time in films. My writing partner, my filmmaking partner, my best friend, he's black. We both just laugh at this. Because we're like, we don't understand this. Like, why do some white people hate black people? I don't know. Just because they're black. Why do some black people hate white people or Asian people? Or why do Asian people hate black? Like, I don't get it. I mean, maybe it's because of where I grew up and how I grew up. Anytime something racist comes out of my mouth, it's sarcasm or it's a joke, meaning in jest that I would make in front of whoever I'm saying it about. It's never meant to be harmful or hurtful, ever. But we've got politicians out there, someone who's trying to be the leader of the free world saying, I'm going to prioritize in our own nation people that look a certain way, or maybe worship a certain way, or bank accounts look a certain way, or maybe even vote a certain way. I'm not saying anything, but I'm saying there's some speculation about this hurricane, the path it took, and why maybe aid didn't come into certain parts. I'm just saying. I'm not going there, but you can do your research. But she's saying maybe we take care of certain people before other people. Why don't you just go town by town, road by road, house by house? Why don't you just help people? We have to have these check boxes. Well, all right, now that we've helped all the black people in the neighborhood, let's start helping the white people. Oh, they're all dead. Just help people. Just help people. You know, people are going to be the way they're going to be. You can't you can't keep a racist person from being racist. You can do everything you can to influence, but it's up to them. If they're going to be racist, they're going to be racist, right? If they're going to drive, you know, the brand vehicle, the manufacturer they want to drive, that's their favorite. That's what they're going to drive. You know, if they're going to put ketchup on a steak like a madman, they're going to put ketchup on steak like a madman. We are all individuals. We all have our own things. Okay. But you are a servant of the people in whatever capacity. President, VP, if you're a legislator, if you are, what was she, a district attorney or attorney, whatever. You're in that role to serve us, the people. You have to let your own personal biases go, and you've got to get out there and do the work to take care of the people that you're supposedly representing. And this is the party that always talks about inclusion. Remember, diversity, equity, inclusion. They don't care about inclusion when they have to include everyone. It's diversity and equity and including only certain folks, only certain groups. It's the biggest load of crock that I have ever heard pouted out by a political party. I do not like them for that. I don't like film, cinema, any of this art stuff that's coming out, TV. Like, quit doing this. Just make good films. Just take care of people. Just do the right thing, to quote Spike Lee, who's a black guy, and I quote him, therefore, ergo, not racist. Okay, maybe a little bit. But anyways, let's just take care of all people, right? So that's your federal government, guys. That's your federal government right there. Let's take a look here. There is an organization that have boots on the ground right now. Samaritan's Purse. Oh no, look, it's a scary cross right there. I'll tell you something, again, as a Christian, I already get enough hate in certain spheres or with these protesting people for being a white male in America. I'm the worst. I get it. Who was it? Was it Don Lemon or whoever was saying like white males are like the biggest threat to America or something like that? And he's married to a white dude. I don't know. People are so stupid. All right. But then Christianity is like the accepted religion that you can pick on and attack and go after and ridicule and stuff. Well, for whatever reason, I don't know. But you know who's on the ground? These guys are. I'm specifically going to call them out because I was going to anyway in the coming weeks. Now I'll go ahead and kind of preview that a little bit. So Samaritan's Purse is run by Franklin Graham, the son of Billy Graham. Okay. Now coming up soon, I'm going to be pushing this right here. Operation Christmas Child. They actually go to everywhere. They go all over the world and they take a shoebox, and that shoebox is filled with like toys, necessities, toiletries, all kinds of stuff. And they go out and they hand deliver it. And they also give them a Bible and they spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. Now maybe that's not your thing. That's fine. But these kids are getting toothbrushes, pencils to write with, ways to do schoolwork, ways to learn, ways to stay healthy, ways to take care of themselves. And in otherwise locations when they can't get these goods. There's been villages where they take the shoe boxes that the stuff comes in, and they fashioned roofs over buildings because that was the best thing they had. And I know you can think of 1,000 or 1,000,000 other ways that organizations can do more, or places we can go serve better, or better uses of people's time. But this is what they want to do. They want to reach the ends of the world for Jesus Christ. I do too. I think this is a great way to serve people, and you serve them where you meet their need. These people need stuff. Go take them stuff. Show them the love of the Lord. And I'm calling them out now. And again, I'm going to talk more about this as we get close to Christmas, because I would love for us to sponsor some boxes. You don't have to put the box together. You actually go on the website and they can even put the box together for you with, you can select all kinds of stuff to put in there. And, it just takes a donation. I think they ask folks to donate for shipping. We do this at our church, and we had somebody sponsor so many boxes and already paid for the shipping for them. So all we got to do is put the boxes together, and, we can come up with something like that. I think us as a channel can really make a big difference with you guys. But I mentioned them again. I was already going to mention them in the coming weeks as we get closer and closer to Christmas, because that's someone I want to get behind. But Operation Christmas Child is part of Samaritan's Purse. Samaritan's Purse is right here. These guys right here, again, it's the totalitarian, the whole organization. Not totalitarian. That's the wrong word. I don't know. It's the umbrella organization. Let me just put it like that. It's the huge umbrella organization where Operation Christmas Child and some other organizations fall up under that. But they're a non-denominational evangelical Christian organization providing spiritual and physical aid to hurting people around the world. This is one of those times where you actually find people doing what they say they're going to do. And this is why I'm very, very proud of them. And they're not the only ones, to be fair. The Georgia State, the Georgia Baptist Convention, I think the Southern Baptist Convention. I mean, there's so many religious organizations out there that are putting boots on the ground, cutting up trees with chainsaws, pulling, trees and branches and all this stuff with, tying it to their trucks and pulling them out of the roads, helping people, feed them, clothe them, everything. We're going to scroll through this, just looking at some of the stuff. I mean, here they go. This is just something they do. They go in the name of Jesus Christ. They go there to minister to people in every way. But the first way is to physically take care of people. Give them food, give them shelter, give them something warm to wear. Make sure they're taken care of physically. They can't get to them spiritually if they can't take care of them first physically. That's the most important thing. And it's not like this, not like, oh, well, you didn't accept Christ as your Savior? Well, give me back that soup. No, they don't do that. We'll look at some more here. I forget what that is, but Says, in addition to our work in Western North Carolina, we are actively working in Valdosta, Georgia, and Perry, Florida. Again, I was mentioning Valdosta earlier, where I have family directly affected by this. Valdosta, Georgia, and Perry, Florida, to serve families suffering from Hurricane Helene, whatever. Watch his video to learn more about how our team is serving those in Florida in Jesus' name. And again, these people, if you don't come to Christ, they don't care. They would love for you to see the love through their works and lead you to Christ. That would be fantastic, because at the end of the day, our belief as Christians is that when we leave here, we go somewhere else. You do 100% go somewhere else. And the only way to get to heaven is through accepting Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior. And they want that for them. They're not trying to push you into believing, something and get into a cult and, show up on Sundays. No, they want to save your soul. That's their belief. That's our belief. And I'm one of those people. I believe that. Absolutely 100%. Now, that's not what this channel's about. And we won't get into a deep dive on that right now. They're not out here like, hey, believe this and we'll help you. Oh, you're a Jew, we're not going to come help. No, they don't do that. They're not about the equitableness like Kamala Harris and them are talking about. They will help anyone and everyone. We've had youth go out and work with these folks, not Samaritan's Purse, but other organizations like this that have put in hot water heaters and replaced porches and stuff for houses that were decrepit that people were still living in. There was a woman one time that says she's lived in that house since the 1920s or 30s. I can't remember how. It's been several years now, but she says she's never had hot water ever in the house. And they installed that for her. She got to take a hot shower for the first time and she cried. It was the most amazing thing. I'm getting teary-eyed just thinking about it. The works that these people do. And it just aggravates me so much that Christians are so demonized. Now, don't get me wrong. You got people out there, claiming the name of Jesus Christ that are doing just awful things. But when someone's sold out to the Lord and has truly dedicated their life to God and given themselves over to the Lord and born anew as this new creation, as someone who wants to be Christ-like in the sense of serving and loving unconditionally, these are the people making a difference. So I applaud Samaritan's Purse. I will put a link down in the show. Look at it. Golly, man. I'll put a link down in the show notes below. You can go help these, donate to these guys if you want to. Sorry. Like I said, we've had revival this week and, I'm hyped up about anything to do with the Lord. And we're going to get in that to our final segment in just a second, kind of wrap things up with this. But yeah, you can donate to them. I'll put a link down in the show notes below. You can donate to them. You can just go to their website and find more about them. Of course, I've got the X already linked down there below as well, because I'm obviously using them as a reference here. And I want to, again, stay true to my word that I link to all my references. But you can go check them out, see if there's somebody worth supporting in your eyes. And then if they are, maybe consider supporting them. I mean, if you're not getting out there with the chainsaws and the trucks and doing all this and that, and even if it's not for this hurricane, maybe it's for the next natural disaster that comes out. Every dollar can go, toward any of this kind of stuff. It helps them not only feed and clothe, the people they're going to serve, but it covers the food and the travel and everything that's needed for them to get there and back, the hours of travel for them to get there and back and to do these things, the gasoline for the chainsaws and, whatever. It's a fantastic organization. I've never tried to push an organization ever on my channel that I didn't agree with, or I didn't truly support myself or buy from. Coffee Brand Coffee's one. I've talked about them before. I'm an affiliate with them. 5% off your coffee for using discount code Mayhem. Links in the show notes below. Why am I doing that? Oh, because they're going to give me a little bit. No, I was already drinking Coffee Brand Coffee. I just got the number 5, which is the bourbon flavored coffee. Love it. I'll mention them all day long because I love their product. I think they do good work. Samaritan's Purse, I wouldn't mention them just because they're Christians. Look at what they're doing. They have more people actively out there, boots on the ground, making a difference than your federal government does with your already collected taxpayer dollars. That should aggravate you. I'm trying to pull back on a little of the cussing or cussing adjacent words here because again, I'm trying to be right. It's infuriating. It's infuriating. But again, it's a perfect segue into this next story right here. And again, this is one that this is one you've probably already seen. And you're like, Chris, what are you going to cover differently on this? Well, we'll find out. Has Coke gone woke, says Daily Mail. Iconic American company in hot water over can personalization that won't allow conservative phrases. Not just that specifically. And again, Jesus, because it's going to mention Jesus, Jesus is not only for conservatives. Just saying. Just saying. But scrolling down here real quick. I think the article is fairly short, so we'll just run through it real quick. Coca-Cola sparked backlash after reportedly banning the words Jesus and Trump 2024 from its personalization cans, while seemingly allowing support for Kamala Harris and Satan and Allah. The company fixed the glitch after the outrage from conservatives when the problem was documented and posted on X by liberals of TikTok, who does fantastic work, by the way. The updated version now bans all monikers that are trademarked, political in nature, names of countries, celebrities, religious figures, as well as anything that could be considered offensive for other reasons, the personalizer tool says. After the glitch circulated online, some began calling for a boycott of the iconic soda company, with some rarely noting, funny how these things always seem to go one way. And that is true. We've talked about that in stories before, haven't we, folks? It's always one-sided. When Google can't pull up search results for, a Trump assassination, but instead talks about a Kamala Harris rally that's coming up, it only goes one way. When you can't find the results you want for conservatives, but they're trying to promote or find plenty of it, or when the Alexas were doing the, I think it was, you would ask him about Trump and she couldn't say anything about that, but you ask her about Kamala Harris and she couldn't shut up about it, about her. It always only goes one way. So Coca-Cola, instead of fixing it, saying, okay, fine, you can put that on your can, they just took everybody else off. Which they either should have done that from the get-go, or they should have allowed everything from the get-go. But when you offer this on a large scale, this customization stuff, you're opening yourself up for all kinds of stuff. But why was it that the Trump, I think Elon Musk, I can't remember, I know Jesus, were blocked from the get-go? I mean, you couldn't even finish typing the word Jesus. We'll scroll through this real quick, then I'll show you the video, just in case you guys haven't seen it. The glitch was first shared by Facebook user Antoine Hill and circulated widely after being pushed by conservative X account Libs of TikTok, which shared images of a Harris Waltz 2024 can being allowed, but Trump 2024 not being allowed. Others followed by sharing videos of their attempts to put religious names on the cans, with Satan and Allah appearing to be allowed. Attempts to put Jesus loves you on the can was met with a warning that the company couldn't personalize the can with the word Jesus, or to be fair, as the courting pointed out, Jesus, for any, Spanish-speaking folks that may have that name. Your name is not allowed on there. Some pointed out that excluding the name Jesus would limit a common name for men in America. However, Coco's website notes that a name might be accepted if you add a last name to the submission. It wouldn't even let you put in an S, so they're lying. The personalizer notably blocks cans with the names of political figures such as Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, but does allow other celebrities such as Elon Musk. Okay, so it did allow Elon Musk. We're going to go over to the video, and I'm going to use this link. There's plenty places where the video is, but I want to use this one because I found this. It's on Odyssey. I don't show enough love to Odyssey. Where are they at? Let me pull it up right here. Odyssey, right here. Another free speech platform. Go support them. There's stuff on there. I'm on there. I'm on all these guys. Right? I'm on all these guys. I know people that are on Odyssey. I can get some good comment interaction on Odyssey. Just saying. Anyways, this is a video on Odyssey. It's only a minute long. I'll play it real quick so you can kind of see what's going on, just in case you're not up to speed or just in case you want to get upset again. Let's get you all the way up. Cool. Boom.
So at this coat store, you can personalize a message. You can put Allah loves you. Or you could even put, let me see. Let's just try it out. Buddha loves you. But you cannot even type in the word Jesus.
See, right there. They said, oh, well, maybe you could put in Jesus if you put a last name with it. You can't even finish spelling Jesus or Jesus. You can't even put the S in there. So that was a lie. That was a lie. And this was after they said they resolved it.
We cannot allow this text on the can. Everything else is good, though. Even if I put, let's see, Satan.
Oh, no, bro.
Hold on. Satan loves you. You could put that.
Unreal.
You could put Satan loves you, Allah loves you, Buddha loves you. But when you type in this word, you can't even type the word in. That's crazy. That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Thank you for pointing that out, good sir. Let me cancel that. All these auto plays on these sites.
So at this.
So all right. So there's a video evidence. You saw what was going on. I know Jeremy over at the court ring, he did it live on the computer, and I think at the time he did it, they already started blocking stuff or allowing stuff. I can't remember. But he had done it earlier and it blocked it. I remember him saying that. So I get it. They didn't fix the glitch. I mean, they just blocked everything. But why was it there to begin with, right? So look, I've been out of the game for 2 weeks, kind of, sort of, right? But I've still had one foot in. I've done my reaction videos that have been coming out this past, like say 2 weeks, or actually about a week and a half. I did take a couple of days off from doing nothing. But I had reaction videos coming out. I've still been playing around with some stuff. I've actually created a merch shop, guys. I have a merch shop for the store. It has several things that are just kind of the generic support stuff, branded stuff. Go check it out. I've got some hats. In fact, I've ordered some stuff for myself that's on the way. May have this here by the next show. I don't know. We'll see. But coffee cups. I've got me, Sean, and Robert. The three amigos. We're always together. The new right. I've got some stuff with all of us on there. I've just got some stuff where you can wear and shout out your support for folks on that you follow folks on Twitter, or you follow folks on Rumble, or you subscribe on YouTube. It just says, I'd hit that. And it's got the little click for the follow or whatever. It just shows that you are someone who will support your favorite content creator. However, this is my first kind of hot topic a story to break that I'm like, I want to include a hot topic-y kind of design from time to time. So in lieu of this and me being upset about it, you get a new item in the store. To be fair, they're all new because the store is new, but new item alert in the store. You can pick from various, I got a few different style shirts. I think materials or men, unisex, women, whatever. I don't know. Go check it out. Link in the show notes below to the store, of course. But I got a few different flavors of this design right here. This is the Christ is King shirt. Of course, the font is in the style of Coca-Cola because I can be a troll when I want to. But it's Christ is King. Font is the style of Coca-Cola. The shirt, it does come in red, of course, and it comes in other colors too. You can pick other colors, but if I'm going to troll, I'm going to troll right. So that shirt is out there. If you want to pick that up and represent your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, if that is for you, if it's not for you, that's okay too. No big deal. I've got more stuff on the way as more stories break, because I do want to be relevant. I do want to be on top of it. I do want to have a little fun with it too. But again, this is just kind of me being a little bit of a troll, being a little bit petty. You're going to come after my God. I'm going to come back. So that's how I fight sometimes, because, I'm too out of shape to fight the other way. But you know what? Go check it out. Go check out the store. Maybe you'll see something you like in there. Maybe you got some suggestions to some stuff to put in there. Let me know in the show notes below. I'm more than happy to check them out. But merch shop is loaded. And in fact, we'll come up with a discount code. How about Jesus? If it'll let me do it, I'll do that. We'll do Jesus. I'll put it down here, whatever we decide for the discount code in the store. I'll run it for 1 week from today to next Friday show. I guess, well, next Thursday, because next Friday it'll be off. How about that? So, starting today through next Thursday for 1 week, we will run 10% off everything in the store. It's a brand new store, brand new merchandise, and the discount code will be Jesus. I hope that works. I've never done that. So I'm going to set it up, and if it works, it'll be down here somewhere, and I'll put it up so you guys will know to use that. So if you're watching the show, you want to go check out the merch shop, link down below, use the discount code, promo code, whatever it's called, Jesus, and save 10% off store-wide for this week only. So that's the intro into the store. Hope you guys go check that out. I hope you don't let stuff like this go by without saying something. If you're the first one to see it, share it, get it out there. Again, that's why I do what I do. I want to get news out there. I want to get information out there. I want to educate people. I want to bring them into the loop of what's really going on in the world and being hidden, misdirected or whatever by the mainstream media. That's it. All right, guys, a couple of reminders before I let you go. Don't forget tonight, again, if you're watching this on Friday morning, tonight, or anytime Friday, tonight, I will be on Studio Jake Media with Jacob Airy and a couple other folks, Warrior Woman, Jester Bell. We're going to be talking about our favorite Halloween horror films, suggestions, and probably other spooky content as well. Having a great time on there. That'll be a live stream. I will leave a link to that in the description below. Saturday night, tomorrow night, I'll be back with my boy Sean over at Third Railify. Excuse me. We'll be doing Off the Rails unless he ends up having like somebody who actually matters instead of me on there, which is fine. But I'll be back with him running that show, having a great time, especially interacting with folks in the chats. If you ever like to show up to live stream chats, that's the one to show up for. There's a lot of love there, a lot of great people there. Would love to interact with you. Link to his channels in the show notes below. But every Saturday night on Third Railify's Rumble channel, we do our Off the Rails. So definitely check it out. A lot of off the rail stories for sure that we will cover. And the last reminder here is that this coming Monday is going to be the second Monday Night Mayhem. I am super excited. The first one went off so well. We've got excellent guests lined up already. Robert Hur, again, from the Washcast and Spin Cycle Live. He was on the last one we did. He's been on the show before. I've done his show before. Great friend of the show. Comedian Chris Clark is going to be on there. He is confirmed. He is a producer for the Hodge Twins and their show that they have on YouTube, Rumble, and all that good stuff. He also tours with them. He is their featured act. And don't tell the Hodge Twins I said this, but I think he's funnier. I enjoyed him so much. And he, of course, he's touring out in Vegas, doing all kinds of stuff on his own as well. Just absolutely killing it. And he's going to be on the show. I can't wait to get his perspective on some of the stuff that's going on out there. And again, we do have a couple of more folks that have not yet confirmed at the time of recording. But follow me on social media. I'll be updating as those are confirmed. Really excited about the other ones that are lined up as well. Hopefully they'll sign up and confirm to be part of the show. If not, I'll see if I can't grab a couple other folks and have a really meaty, depthful, fulfilling conversation for you guys for our second Monday Night Mayhem. That will be this Monday. Don't forget, it's going to be one awesome show. Well, that's it, guys. That is the full show. Man, it felt so good to be back and see you guys. I hope I didn't run my mouth too much and run anybody off. Again, look, if you're here and you're a liberal, you're welcome here. If you're conservative, look, I'm going to say stuff that might upset you from time to time, but it's my perspective. It's my channel. And you know what? Come at me in the comments. Let's actually have some constructive criticism, some back and forth. If you just, name call or, want to throw dirt or whatever, I mean, do your thing. That's fine. I'm not going to judge you. I just don't recognize that as being super productive. Whether you're on the left or the right, you're down the middle, you don't even care. You're just here to find out entertainment news. I'm glad you're here. I love you. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, follow, all that good fun stuff. Don't forget, we also break down the segments to individual shows and put those out throughout the week. for a little easier to digest bite-sized pieces. And don't forget to support the people that support me, support our channel. They're in the show notes below, the people that I've mentioned. Fantastic group of people I work with. I'm so thrilled and honored to be in their circles. And guys, I'm so glad to have you here. And if I haven't met you yet, if I haven't spoken with you yet, I'd love to see you down in the comment section below, and let's do a little interacting. You guys are fantastic, and you always come with the love. Guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.
Now, I was a single father for a while, but only on the weekends, though. Only on the weekends. Can't be around that little cock blocker every day. Hell no. Get out of here, man.